welcome to Teatime and Tarot on Looking Glass Letterbox. This is a daily general tarot reading. It's not for any particular question, any particular person. It's a shuffle of cards to see what the tarot has to consider today. So we are going to go ahead and begin here. We are in Gemini season, which is a time of intellectual expansion. So Aries, we had inspiration and, flirting with different ideas, selecting something to carry through for development throughout the rest of the year. Taurus season is grounding that to make it stable and malleable for their growth and development throughout the rest of the year. And now we're in Gemini season, which is the intellectual expansion, communication, idea, the intellectual understanding of how things can expand and grow and shift and change and develop into something more complex for then nurturing into Cancer season. So we're in the time of Gemini expansion, and at the moment we are between two eclipses. We just had the full moon lunar eclipse. That was the flower moon. It was a super moon several days ago, and we are approaching a solar eclipse in a few days. I want to say it's on the 9th, but I could be wrong about that. I'll double check, but there's a solar eclipse coming up. So we're in a corridor of transition at the moment. So if things for you seem a little bumpy, a little rocky, like everything's sort of like upended and it all seems, a mess, everything in your life, or maybe just one thing in your life, whatever it is, you're not alone. A lot of people are going through that sort of thing at the moment. So it's a little bit of a time of discombobulation in certain aspects, in preparation for stepping up and moving into the next stage of things, in my opinion. If that connects for you, wonderful. If it doesn't connect for you, then it's not for you. So take this as you please for yourself. It's entirely your prerogative, or don't take it at all, but hopefully there's something interesting and entertaining or curious that you can keep in your pocket to consider over the next few days. And for the first card today, we have the Six of Wands. Okay, so that is coming through conflict, victory through action, because previous to the Six of Wands and is the Five of Wands, and that is something you are in active conflict or practice or competition with. So it's a point of challenge or a point of obstacle that is a stage of learning and development. You're meant to meet that conflict or meant to meet that obstacle or challenge in order to, one, hone your skills, see where you're strong, see where you're weak, see where you're in alignment with the wands. It's where you're in alignment with your principle and your passion and your purpose and your belief, and see maybe where you've acted out of alignment, where you're like, okay, I did that. I'm not so proud of how I went about doing that particular thing, so I need to rein that in and move that intention in a direction or an action that is more in alignment with my principle and my purpose and how I want to behave in the spaces where I am operating. Okay, so consider how you went through that conflict, how you went through that challenge, how you overcame that obstacle, if it's in alignment with your sort of radiant spirit of the wands, if it's connected to how you want to exist and behave in those spaces, and then adjust those things before you carry on to your next state of action, or your next step of action, the next right thing to do. Okay. Also, it's at the point of 6. It's related to Gemini, the lovers. That's about connection, duality, unification, reciprocation, communication, all of those things. So then we have the Judgment. Okay, so Judgment is about hearing a call to what is next for you, having an idea of where it is you want to go, how you want to develop. But with Judgment, it's also about revisiting and reevaluating the past in order to forgive what needs to be forgiven, to release what needs to be released, to appreciate what you want to embrace and carry forward with you, but sort of revisiting and reevaluating all of those things in order to bring them to a point of reconciliation. So you can take the lesson learned, knowing what you know now that you didn't know then, understanding things now that you didn't understand before, and unlimiting yourself from old story or old perception or old understanding of what your past, how that defines who you are and how it does not define who you are. How you choose to embrace what you take forward is going to be significant in how you move forward into the next stage of evolution, or your next stage of experience, or the next phase of what it is that you're developing or going through that you would like to go. Okay, so Judgment is about reevaluating the past in order to reconcile, and then be prepared to rise up again into what you're moving into from this point forward. So it's like a crossroads sort of thing, a time of contemplation and consideration and reconciliation. All right, and this corridor between eclipses is an excellent time to employ that. And then we have the Six of Cups. All right, so realigning your actions with your principles and how you want to carry forward with the Six of Wands, reevaluating the past and how things have gone up until this point, who you were in those spaces, what you thought about those things, and gaining the lessons learned from all of your history, all of your experience, really engaging and developing that wisdom is going to bring you to a point of emotional reciprocation, unification, reunion, rejuvenation. It's going to allow you to become fulfilled and supported by things in your past that you may have not noticed, may have taken for granted, may have undervalued. It's also about maybe remembering parts of yourself that you didn't realize you'd forgotten, and being re-enlivened by that, and knowing now that if you take care of that and if you nurture that, that is going to provide you with fulfillment and vibrancy and energy within your emotional intelligence, within the emotional body, that's going to sustain you and maintain you moving forward from this point. Again, at the point of 6 related to the Lovers and Gemini season. So all of this is sort of in service of preparing you for expansion. All right. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Pentacles. That was at the top of the deck yesterday, and I believe it was in the reading before that. So it's about reevaluating, considering what it is you've established in your material realm. So the life external to you. So all of this is sort of your processing of what's happening, what you think, what you feel, how you behave sort of internally, and considering all of those things and how they apply to the foundation that you have created external to you in home, work, money, family, health, in all of those realms, how that established the foundation that you are standing upon in your coins area, in the earthly element, so that you can decide how you want to develop to the next echelon of whatever that is, or if you don't want to go next echelon, how to maintain and sustain and nurture and care for what it is that you've already created. All right, and then we have the Hanged Man. So again, a time of suspension, a time of consideration, considering things from a different angle, sort of resting, recuperating, and just noticing. Yesterday we had listen on the table in the Oracle cards. So listening to the thoughts that come up in your mind and be like, oh, well, why did I think that? What is that about? And sort of digging into the things that sort of rise up for your attention, because it may be significant to what you embrace or what you release that's going to have an impact on what you do next. So taking the time to consider that. This is also a card of Pisces, so a Pisces may be influential to you here. So, but really taking a time to notice the things that are rising up in the moment for your attention, and taking the time to assess those things about how they impact you now, how they were active in the development of in the past to bring you to the point that you are now, and how you want to employ those moving forward after we walk through this corridor between eclipses. And then we have the Six of Wands, clarified by Strength. Strength has been showing up a lot the past couple of weeks. So really taking Strength, it's the card of Leo. A Leo may be influential to you here, but it is about your radiant heart, your character, your integrity, your principle, how you want to show up in this space, the energy you want to bring to the space, who you physically want to be in your life, how you physically want to show up, you know, and the vibe and the energy that you extend into your environment and into your relationships and into your activities. So is that all in alignment with the course of the development that you are seeking, what it is that you are moving to? Is it in alignment or is it in discord? And if it's in discord, can it be readjusted in order to bring it into greater alignment with where it is that you would like to go to and develop next? And then judgment we have clarified by the world. Okay, so that's a point of completion, a point of sort of wrapping up and the end of a cycle, the end of this chapter in preparation of opening up into the next chapter. How do you want the story to go next? The story of your own life and your own experience. How do you want to develop? Who do you want to be walking into this next stage of your experience and your activity, and how you feel and how you think and how you show up? Okay, so that's definitely a time of review, a recap, so to speak, of the previous cycle, and an awareness and a clear picture of where you are right now in this moment and how you got there. And that will then prepare you to have, right under that, we have the Lovers. So again, Gemini showing up for Gemini season, and preparing for the expansion into the next stage, the next cycle of Pentacles, of what you're going to create and manifest and be active with and be in creation with moving forward. And then the Six of Cups clarified by the Queen of Swords. So this is independent thought, clear analysis, knowing what you want in the intellectual body. Okay, so sort of a unification of well-being, emotional well-being in the Six of Cups, and the intellectual understanding of how that applies and how you want to employ that moving forward into the future in decisive action with the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is also the card of Libra. So it's about balanced, fair, equanimable, is that a word? Equanimity and equitability, and sort of and in the overview, in the scope of your life and what you're doing, and having a clearer picture and understanding of how all the connections are coming together, where you've come from, where you'd like to go, and having the confidence to take the decisions based on that analysis to move forward and to do the next thing that's in alignment in the heart space, in the emotional space, in the intellectual body, and in the external body. Okay, based on this review, that's going to prime you and place you in a state of preparation to be sort of primed and ready for what's going to come next. It's very nice. That's lovely. I like that a lot. Okay, and then this is the Enchanted Map Oracle card today is Dragon's Lair at card 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. So again, 10 is the number of completion. So, but Dragon's Lair is, there's a quote that comes with each one of these, and that is, the Dragon's Lair, you are always protected and divinely directed. So right now, if things seem confusing, if things are befuddled or challenging or difficult, or some things have fallen apart, or some things have come together in ways that seem to have sort of thrown you off kilter, you have a remarkable internal warning system to let you know when things are out of alignment. So if you are feeling that things are particularly out of alignment, then a review with this judgment and the world and strength and the Ten of Pentacles is going to allow you to assess those things so that you can bring them back into alignment with an intention of moving forward into further development as well. So with Dragon Slayer, you're about to enter dangerous territory, so tread carefully and be aware of your surroundings. The path you're on now is one that will challenge you. That said, peril is also exciting and exhilarating, like the danger, like knowing that you'll be engaged in something that's going to change you forever. A life lived fully isn't lived only in safety. A new experience is calling to you, one that will test your courage. The choice is yours, but there's greater value in risk-taking than in remaining unchallenged. New territories are waiting to be discovered. So this corridor between the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, and all of the shifting and changing and upheaval, or the bumpy road that if you're connecting with this, you may be dealing with, and the call to reassess and reaffirm and reconcile your history up until this point, and taking a real assessment of how things currently stand, a realistic overview of exactly where you are, and an understanding of how you came to be here, is going to open you up to the challenge to develop further into where you would like to go next. Okay, and that can be challenging. And that can feel really, dangerous and unsettling to step into, especially when you have to break old habits, old cycles, old routines, old ways of being, that through this reevaluation, you're going to realize, okay, these may have been applicable in the past. They may have worked in the past in allowing me to sustain and maintain and develop things to the point that where they are, but they are no longer useful. At this point, they're more hindrance than help. And breaking those routines, breaking those relationships, breaking those connections, breaking those habits, changing your mind about long-held beliefs or understandings that you thought were correct, that you are then presented with, new information or a new understanding of things that completely shift your understanding, and how that may fundamentally affect your scope of vision and understanding about what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do, what does apply and what doesn't apply. That can be a little bit frightening. All right, but through the reevaluation, reassessment, connecting back with your own radiant heart, your own principle and belief and courage, how you want to set out and exist in the world, and taking the cool, calm, clear-headed analysis and understanding of how you want to decide to move forward in the future is going to see you through those challenges. Okay, so listen to your instinct. Okay, that's like the let's see, there's intellectual awareness, there's intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, physical intelligence. So that's like you're in your gut, the red flags, something when you just know it's not right, pay attention to that and look into it so that you can then be prepared to deal with anything related to that. And then also having the confidence in your own decision and your own independent thought about what you would like to move forward on and how you would like to do that. Reviewing the past and your history and taking the lessons learned from that and what brought you to how things are today for you is going to prepare you to embrace that confidence and take up that authority for yourself in your own life and in deciding on what actions you are going to take moving forward. Okay, that is all that I have for today. I hope that was helpful or interesting, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.